know how many of you homeschool or what age your oldest is? Do we have any others that are starting to homeschool this fall with, hi Megan, just a 5 or 6 year old? I thought that was a great topic, or it was a good time for that topic too. So my oldest right now is, oh yay, my oldest is going to be 13 on Sunday. So it's been quite a while since we started out with when he was 5. So that's been, what, 8 years. Okay, but it's your first year with a 9, 4, and 2-year-old. All right. 5, 3, and 1. Yeah. So when you're starting to homeschool, when your oldest is 5, that generally means that, you have other kids, toddlers down, and that changes the dynamic quite a bit. When you have 9-year-olds or 10-year-olds or even 12, 13, whatever year olds, sometimes there are still toddlers in the mix, but that's a pretty common scenario to have 5-year-old on down, and it can feel pretty overwhelming. Honestly, it's a pretty intense time of mothering to begin with, because they just need you so much for pretty much everything. And so then to add school on top of that can feel overwhelming. But it doesn't have to be. And it's really easy, I think, to get overwhelmed with all the options that are out there. The preschool stuff, the kindergarten stuff can look fun, but really if you just want to get your kids started on a good track and you want to set yourself up with good habits for homeschooling, you don't need a program. You don't need a bunch of activities. You don't need all of the special preschool and kindergarten toys and games. And there's just so much stuff out there. And honestly, I don't think that most of it is necessary or even all that helpful. So kind of don't feel like you have to pick from all these games or activities or curriculums for your 5-year-old. Your 5-year-old, what I did, that when your oldest is 5, it's still a little bit different than when your youngest, or when you have younger kids that are 5, because right now I have a 6-year-old and I also have a 3-year-old, and I do even less with them than I did with when my oldest was 5, and I didn't do much with him. So because they're just in this atmosphere. Yes, exactly. Yay, Celeste is here. She knows a lot more about this than I do. They just pick up on what's going on in the house, because when you have older kids, yay Dawn, when you have older kids, they are doing their things, they're reading their books, maybe you have a little bit more involved morning time going on, and that 5-year-old sometimes doesn't need anything more than just to be in the mix. Hello. He doesn't even necessarily need any special instruction at that age. Now, some 5-year-olds are ready for it, some 5-year-olds are not. And you just kind of have to figure that out, and you don't necessarily know when your oldest is 5 what those signs are or whether they're ready or not. Sometimes you know, they're already reading, so they're clearly ready, or they're just very much still in that younger mindset where it's like, I don't know if they really need to be doing any formal school. So don't feel like your 5-year-old should be in any one place. Yeah. The 5-year-olds there's this wide range, and you don't have to catch a 5-year-old up or anything. Just figure out where they are. And if they're the oldest, then you want to make sure, that you have read alouds going on, that maybe you're doing an audiobook in the car, that you do maybe a very short morning time where you just sing a couple songs.
So when my oldest was 5, we did a morning time. It took about 15 minutes. We sang Holy, 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 and we memorized Psalm 1 slowly over like the whole year. And we learned like the first 20, 25 questions of the Catechism for Young Children, which is a shorter catechism based off the Westminster. So that's the one where they learn, who made you? God. What else did God make? God made all things. Why did God make you and all things?
I don't know.
Oh, well, she doesn't know. we have a few years. She's 3, so maybe she'll know. Yes, for his own glory. You're supposed to know that one, though. But when they're 3 or 4 or 5, they might know it one day and they don't know it the next day. And that's absolutely normal. And especially if you're doing, not just catechism questions, but phonics. One day they might be getting all the letter sounds, and then the next day they don't know any. And that can be really frustrating. I do too. But it's totally normal. So just do your, 5 minutes of phonics review, learning phonics sounds. That is a book. And just keep doing it. Eventually they'll start picking it up. But, oh, careful. Okay, she's going to bring books for show and tell. So, at that age, they just forget from day to day, and your job isn't to make them remember or to get them to a certain point by a certain time, but just to keep that reinforcing, keep reviewing, keep at it, very small chunks of time reviewing, and eventually it'll build up and they'll get there. So to just chill and keep it low key, and so a short morning time, maybe a little bit of math, maybe not. Some 5-year-olds would eat that up and love it, or maybe it's just learning to write the numbers, but not necessarily. That's like depending on the 5-year-old for sure. Sometimes I've started math, like the kindergarten book. We use Math EC at 5, and sometimes I've waited till 6. So it kind of depends on the student. And then a little bit of phonics practice, and some read alouds, picture books, audiobooks in the car. All right. So if you do a short morning time, like 10, 15 minutes, a tiny bit of math, a tiny bit of phonics, like 5 or 10 minutes. 5 minutes is plenty. And there you go. You can do things like the names of shapes and colors if you want. I have honestly never taught my children the shapes and colors or anything, and they just seem to pick it up. So you can purposefully teach that if you feel like it, if you want something to do, but all my kids have learned that without me actually teaching it to them. I've learned that. So don't feel like you have to, like there's this certain set of stuff they should know when they're 5 years old. I know I had one friend say, I just realized that my child's almost 6 and doesn't know his alphabet song. I'm like, you know what? Kids have learned to read without knowing the alphabet song. It's okay. They can know the alphabet song, and that's great, but it's not required. They don't have to know the alphabet song in order to be a success in life, or even in school, or even in first grade. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about shapes. Don't worry about even counting. If you just doing real life with them, you're around them all day, they're doing real life with you, they end up picking that stuff up without you needing to really use a curriculum or have intentional time. There you go. Maybe I'll join them. I haven't heard that contingent yet, but maybe I'll join them. I don't know if Geneva's never ever heard the alphabet song, but my others learned it from the Leapfrog toys. So they know it from electronic toys and not even from me. So again, something I didn't have to teach them, but they just picked up. So besides that, so school time, that intentional school time where you're sitting down and trying to actually do something with them, an hour tops at 5, half an hour. Because you could even alternate and do 5 minutes of math one day and 5 minutes of phonics the next day. Or you can do all of that and just do school time 3 times a week. It's not, it's not something that you have to be spending a lot of time doing, and it's not something that needs to be done every single day without fail. Mostly the things they're going to learn are from following you around and you talking to them while you do stuff. And also spending plenty of time outside. And when they have playtime, to just let them have free, unstructured, open-ended, imaginative play. So like the kitchen stuff, where they're setting up restaurant and playing restaurant, or playing coffee drive-through. That's what my kids do. Just blocks and train tracks and those kind of things, where it's not like there are rules that they have to play by the rules, or they have to be doing something that's directed, but where they're just playing and making up their own thing. Yes. So just let them be 3, 4, 5 and play. And play really is the most important thing that they can be doing. Like this one should be playing outside. So that's my thought on homeschooling 5 and unders, and just keeping your sanity mostly when they're all around all the time. That's the big trick. If you can figure that out, that's more important than teaching them their numbers. So really, it's kind of those good habits. And if you can have them doing chores and learning to put away their toys when they're done playing, and learning to obey what you say cheerfully, that's even more important than learning their letters, because that's going to come in really handy when I don't know, this is quiet time right here. They're being pretty quiet. If they can put away their things and obey cheerfully, then your schooling from 5-year-olds and up is going to be a lot better. So we definitely did quiet time when my oldest was 5 and when my second born was 5, and I just had all the littles. Then I needed it for sure. Now there's just a lot more going on, and we have friends in the neighborhood and older kids, and dedicated quiet time just doesn't work out as well as it did in our current situation. So I don't have any nappers anymore. So these guys all spent an hour in their room already playing by themselves, but for a certain little boy, that's practically pure torture. So I don't make him do it every day, but I might send him outside to play with his sister. So have fun with your 5-year-olds and just enjoy them, and read, put on audiobooks, and don't worry about doing too much school with them. They aren't going to be behind. They're going to be ahead if they spend their time being kids. Bye.
Bye.